Hello, Cosmic Voyagers, and welcome back to Knowledge Panel. Today we journey back to one of humanity's greatest feats, the Colossus of Rhodes. As one of the Seven Wonders, its story blends fact, legend, and enduring mystery. Though it stood for less than a lifetime, its legacy spans millennia. The Colossus was more than a statue. It was a declaration of freedom and resilience. What did it look like? How was it built? And what brought it down? Let's uncover the evidence and separate myth from reality. Join me as we resurrect the Colossus of Rhodes in the theater of our minds. Let's talk scale. The Colossus stood about 33 meters, 108 feet, tall. Imagine the Statue of Liberty without her pedestal or torch. That's the scale we're talking about. In 292 BCE, Rhodes buzzed with activity as Chares of Lindos, a student of Lysippos, took on the challenge of building the tallest statue the world had ever seen. No computers, no modern tools, just intellect, geometry, and raw determination. The project took 12 years, involving a generation of artisans and workers. This was more than construction. It was a city-wide obsession and a feat of project management. Chares had to source materials, manage a massive workforce, and solve unprecedented engineering problems. How do you build something that tall without cranes? How do you ensure it stands? Every cubit was a message to the world. Rhodes was powerful and enduring. The Colossus was meant to be seen from afar, a beacon for ships and a symbol of civic pride. The construction site was alive with the clang of hammers and the rise of the giant against the Aegean sky. Chares, influenced by Lysippos's new sculptural proportions, had to adapt art to architecture. He became an artist, architect, and engineer in one. For 12 years, the people of Rhodes watched their giant grow, a public spectacle and a source of immense pride. They weren't just building a statue, they were forging their identity in bronze and iron. The Colossus was a reach for the heavens, a physical and aspirational marvel. It was a living project, not a static relic. The scale wasn't just physical, it was a statement of ambition. Rhodes was determined to leave a mark on history. The Colossus was their message to the world. And for a brief, shining moment, they touched the sky. That's the scale of ambition. Why build a giant statue? The answer lies in survival after a great conflict. The Colossus was a victory monument, born from the siege of Rhodes by Demetrius the Besieger. For a year, Rhodes resisted a massive army and the terrifying Hellepolis siege tower. The citizens fought with ingenuity, flooding the ground and repelling assaults. When Demetrius abandoned the siege, Rhodes was left with a city to rebuild, and a trove of abandoned enemy equipment. The Rhodians melted down the bronze and iron from these war machines and sold the rest, funding the Colossus. The ultimate irony, weapons meant for destruction became a symbol of victory. The Colossus was a political and psychological statement. We survive. We endure. Dedicated to Helios, the sun god and Rhodes's patron, the statue became a divine guardian watching over the city. Its significance went beyond size. It was the heart of Rhodes's identity. For 56 years it stood as a daily reminder of triumph over adversity. Sailors saw it first on the horizon. Merchants stood in its shadow. It symbolized economic power, maritime dominance, and unbreakable spirit. Like a supernova birthing new worlds, the Colossus was forged from the fires of war. It embodied the principle that beauty and meaning can emerge from chaos. The Colossus was resilience made manifest. Its story is a testament to transformation. From destruction came creation. From war came art. The Colossus was the city's soul in bronze, and its message still echoes today. That's the power of resilience. What did the Colossus actually look like? Here, history blurs into legend. The famous image of the statue straddling the harbor is iconic, but almost certainly impossible. Engineering such a pose would have caused the statue to collapse under its own weight, and closing the harbor for years would have crippled Rhodes's economy. Most scholars agree it stood on a pedestal near the harbor, towering over the port. Imagine a bronze god, sun-crowned, greeting ships as they arrived. The statue depicted Helios, likely nude or semi-nude, with an athletic physique and a radiant crown. Some accounts suggest it shielded its eyes or held a torch, echoing the Statue of Liberty. The Colossus was not solid bronze. It had a hollow core, reinforced with iron bars and filled with stone blocks for stability. Its construction was similar to a modern skyscraper, a strong skeleton supporting a gleaming facade. The polished bronze would have blazed in the sun, a true god of light. The reality was practical yet wondrous, a masterpiece of art and engineering. The mystery of its exact appearance only adds to its legend. The Colossus was a fusion of aesthetics and physics. It was a marvel of its age. The truth is more impressive than the myth. A sun-crowned figure standing proudly by the sea. That's the real Colossus. Its legend endures because its reality was extraordinary, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Let's dive into the material science behind the Colossus. It used about 13.5 tons of bronze and over 8 tons of iron. That's the weight of 2 elephants in bronze and a school bus in iron. Bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, was sourced through vast trade networks, much of it from melted enemy war machines. Iron formed the internal skeleton, giving the statue strength. Forging and assembling these metals was a monumental task. But there was more. The lower legs and feet were filled with stone blocks, acting as ballast to stabilize the giant. This multi-material system, stone for weight, iron for support, bronze for beauty, was advanced for its time. The combination of metals, however, risked galvanic corrosion, slowly weakening the iron inside. The ancient engineers may not have known the chemistry, but their design was ingenious. Every element played a role: stone for stability, iron for structure, bronze for the divine appearance. The Colossus was a symphony of materials, each chosen for its properties. Its construction was a marvel of supply chains, metallurgy, and structural mechanics. Great achievements are built on countless small details. The Colossus was no exception. Its materials tell a story of innovation and ambition, and that's what made it a wonder. How do you build a statue taller than a 10-story building without cranes? The Rhodians invented a brilliant solution: the earthen ramp. As the statue rose, workers piled earth around it, creating a sloping ramp to bring up materials. The Colossus grew hidden within a man-made mountain. The marble pedestal was laid first, then the bronze and iron feet, filled with stone. As the legs rose, so did the ramp, allowing access at every stage. For most of its construction, the statue was buried in earth, unseen. This method provided a stable work platform and eliminated the need for risky scaffolding. When finished, the ramp was slowly removed, revealing the giant piece by piece. The unveiling was a dramatic, awe-inspiring event for the city. The technique was labor-intensive but effective, showcasing mastery of basic physics and logistics. Chares had to trust his calculations. Any mistake would be buried until the end. Ancient engineering relied on leverage, manpower, and ingenuity. The Colossus, like the pyramids and Stonehenge, was a monument to applied genius. That's the legacy of ancient ingenuity. Even wonders fall. After just 56 years, an earthquake struck Rhodes in 226 BCE. The Colossus, with its high center of gravity, was vulnerable. The statue snapped at the knees, a structural weak point, toppling the bronze giant. The crash was catastrophic, echoing across the city. The people wanted to rebuild, but the Oracle of Delphi forbade it, claiming Helios was displeased. For nearly 9 centuries, the ruins lay where they fell, becoming a tourist attraction. Pliny the Elder wrote that few could wrap their arms around the fallen thumb. In 654 CE, after an Arab conquest, the remains were sold as scrap, reportedly hauled away by 900 camels. The Colossus's journey from war spoils to wonder, from ruin to legend, mirrored the rise and fall of empires. Its materials were scattered, but its story endured. The fall was not the end, but a transformation. The Colossus became a symbol of impermanence and legacy. Even in ruin, it inspired awe. That's the fate of titans. The Colossus's true immortality lies in its legacy. It became the benchmark for all colossal statues to come. The Statue of Liberty, inspired by the Colossus, stands as a modern beacon of hope. Both statues greet ships, wear radiant crowns, and symbolize ideals. Resilience for Rhodes, freedom for America. The word colossal itself comes from this wonder. In literature, the Colossus is a recurring motif, from Shakespeare to Sylvia Plath. Modern proposals to rebuild the Colossus spark debate. Can we truly recreate the past, or should we let the legend stand? Whether rebuilt or not, the Colossus's place in history is secure. It represents a moment when art, engineering and civic pride converged. Even our greatest creations are temporary, but their ideas can last forever. The Colossus was more than a statue. It was a dream cast in bronze, a dream of standing tall after adversity, a dream of turning war into peace, a dream of reaching for the sun. And that dream still inspires us to build boldly. The Colossus stood for just 56 years, but its legacy endures. It's a symbol of resilience, ambition, and ancient innovation. Even when a structure falls, its idea can radiate through time, like starlight from a long-dead sun. The Colossus reminds us that the ancient world was dynamic and daring. Its shadow is a benchmark for human ambition. Which fact about the Colossus surprised you most? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more journeys into the wonders of our world. Until next time, keep looking up.